Apple, the titan of proprietary hardware and vertical integration, a company famed for controlling every single layer of its technology stack, is utterly dependent on a single rival for its artificial intelligence future. This isn't just about chips, it's about control over the entire paradigm shift of AI itself. You are about to understand the insidious choke points Nvidia has meticulously engineered into the global AI compute supply chain, exposing why even a company like Apple, with its $2 trillion market capitalization and legendary independence, finds itself strategically trapped and profoundly vulnerable. For decades, Silicon Valley has watched as tech giants like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon battle for supremacy in cloud computing, e-commerce, and software. But a new, far more foundational battle is now quietly raging, largely out of public sight. This conflict centers on the very infrastructure of intelligence. It started long before the explosion of generative AI with tools like ChatGPT in 2022, tracing its roots back to crucial decisions made over 2 decades ago. The key players are clear. On one side, Apple, the consumer electronics behemoth. On the other, Nvidia, the graphics processing unit specialist that quietly built a kingdom. Nvidia's journey to this commanding position wasn't accidental. It was a long, patient, and incredibly strategic bet. Beginning in the late 1990s and early 2000s, Nvidia invested billions of dollars into its graphics processing units, or GPUs. Initially, these powerful chips were designed for one purpose: making video games look stunningly realistic. They excelled at parallel processing, handling thousands of calculations simultaneously, which is perfect for rendering complex graphics. But then, a handful of visionary engineers and scientists realized GPUs had another, far greater potential. They were perfectly suited for scientific computing, crunching vast datasets, and eventually, for deep learning, the engine behind modern artificial intelligence. Nvidia didn't just sell powerful hardware, it built an entire universe around it. In 2007, it launched CUDA, its Compute Unified Device Architecture. CUDA wasn't merely a programming language. It was a comprehensive parallel computing platform and a set of application programming interfaces that allowed developers to unlock the raw power of Nvidia GPUs for general-purpose tasks, far beyond gaming. This was the masterstroke. Think of it like this. Nvidia didn't just build the fastest, most powerful engines, they built the only roads, the only gas stations, and wrote the only driving manual that everyone had to learn to build the cars of the future. Apple, meanwhile, was busy perfecting its own custom-designed, highly efficient flying machines, but now realizes the future requires driving those roads, and they simply didn't invest in the underlying terrestrial infrastructure. Apple's strategic divergence was understandable at the time. Its focus has always been on designing highly optimized chips, its custom A-series and M-series silicon for its own devices. These chips integrate CPU, GPU, and specialized neural engines, all meticulously tuned for efficiency and performance in consumer products like iPhones, iPads, and MacBooks. Apple's neural engines are brilliant for inference, running AI models quickly on the device, but they are not designed for training massive, cutting-edge AI models from scratch, which requires colossal computational power in the cloud. That has always been a task for data centers filled with thousands upon thousands of specialized processors. So when the AI explosion hit, Apple found its ambition to seamlessly integrate next-generation artificial intelligence across its entire ecosystem, from a smarter Siri to advanced photo editing and truly intelligent productivity features, running headfirst into a wall it did not build, and one it cannot easily climb over. This wall is Nvidia's proprietary CUDA platform, an engineering marvel that has effectively locked generations of AI researchers and developers into Nvidia's hardware. Now, here's where the real mechanism of power becomes clear. Before understanding this, you might have simply thought AI advancements are just about powerful chips. You'd probably assume any company with Apple's nearly unlimited research and development budget could simply design and build its own. But after truly grasping the situation, you realize the fundamental bottleneck isn't merely raw silicon or even the cost of manufacturing. It is the software layer built on top of that silicon, an ecosystem optimized over 2 decades, boasting millions of developers and an entire global community of researchers and engineers who are fluent in CUDA and deeply reliant on its robust toolset. This isn't just a hardware monopoly, it's an ecosystem monopoly, and that makes all the difference. Consider the staggering implication. One company's 20-year bet on specialized hardware and a tightly integrated proprietary software stack now dictates the pace of global AI innovation. Every single time you interact with a modern artificial intelligence tool, whether it's ChatGPT, Midjourney, Google's latest conversational models, or any cutting-edge research breakthrough, you are, in an unseen way, running on Nvidia's architecture, relying on their CUDA ecosystem. Every new feature, every performance leap, every emergent capability of AI relies on this foundation. We often think of tech giants as defining their own destinies, charting independent courses, but in the age of generative artificial intelligence, even the most independent players, even the most vertically integrated, find their future dictated by a single, intensely focused supplier. Apple's dilemma is stark. They could try to build their own CUDA equivalent from the ground up. This would entail years, perhaps even a decade of development, and then the monumental task of convincing millions of developers to switch from the established industry standard to their nascent platform. It's like trying to build a new internet protocol when the entire world already relies on TCP/IP. The switching costs are astronomically high, not just in money, but in time and developer goodwill. Their other option? Lease Nvidia's hardware from cloud providers to train their massive AI models. This transforms Apple, the ultimate independent innovator, into a customer, forced to funnel billions of dollars to a direct competitor while simultaneously ceding strategic control over a foundational technology. Or perhaps they could pivot to using AMD chips, but AMD's equivalent software ecosystem, ROCm, is years behind CUDA in maturity, developer adoption, and the sheer volume of optimized libraries that researchers depend on. It's a choice between strategic dependency or an impossibly costly, time-consuming quest for true independence. This dynamic reveals profound truths about how the modern tech industry truly operates. You can read future tech news with a completely different lens. First, the software moat is now more critical and often more enduring than the hardware moat. Companies like Apple can design incredible custom silicon, but without the corresponding, deeply entrenched developer ecosystem, those chips are like Formula One cars with no racetracks built for them. This means you need to look beyond raw processing power and impressive benchmarks when assessing a company's true innovation potential in foundational technologies. The software layer, the developer community, is the real long-term lock-in. Second, vertical integration, once Apple's unrivaled superpower, now has a demonstrable blind spot. Apple's control over its entire hardware and software stack works beautifully for consumer devices and on-device processing, but for foundational, high-scale cloud infrastructure that powers the most advanced artificial intelligence, their vertical integration strategy stops short at the data center door. This forces them into impossible choices. Either build out an entire cloud AI compute platform from absolute scratch, a venture that would take years and astronomical resources, or reluctantly concede dependency on a rival for a critical strategic component. Third, we are seeing the rise of quiet, infrastructural monopolies. Nvidia didn't acquire dozens of competitors or crush them in the market in the traditional sense. It systematically built the foundational layer, the pickaxes and shovels that everyone else had to use to participate in the new AI economy. This is a far more insidious and deeply embedded form of control than visible market dominance. It's not about owning the end product. It's about owning the very means of production for an entire technological revolution. Have you ever considered how deeply integrated these foundational technologies are into every app you touch, every digital assistant you query, every recommendation you receive? This isn't merely about Apple's quarterly earnings or Nvidia's fluctuating stock price. This profound control over the AI compute supply chain dictates who can innovate, who can bring new intelligence to the market, who sets the ethical standards, and ultimately, who shapes the future of intelligence itself. It represents a subtle yet profound concentration of power, shifting from what once appeared to be open protocols and diverse ecosystems to increasingly closed, proprietary ones. When a single entity holds the keys to the engine that drives all future knowledge creation, scientific discovery, and problem solving, it gains immense, almost unimaginable sway over societal direction, economic opportunity, and even geopolitical standing. Imagine a future where critical AI breakthroughs are delayed or even entirely stifled, not by a lack of brilliant ideas or talented individuals, but by a bottleneck in the underlying computational infrastructure. That is the silent cost of Nvidia's grip. It fundamentally alters the competitive landscape, making it exponentially harder for new entrants and inherently limiting the diversity of AI's development. The lines of power in Silicon Valley are being redrawn with every new chip, every new line of code. What seems like an internal corporate battle between two technology giants is, in reality, a fight for the very infrastructure of tomorrow's world. Understand these quiet power plays, and you'll never see the news or your own devices the same way again. The next story we uncover reveals another surprising choke point, one that quietly shapes the digital services you rely on daily, and few outside a handful of powerful executives even know it exists.